It says we are live. Now I do have my iPad on down here. It's the only way that I can kind of figure out the lag. So,
Okay.
and we'll give people a few minutes because it's still saying it's waiting on me.
Okay.
So it is saying that we just went live. And
Yay.
so we're going to give it a few minutes because I do know that this lag for some reason is really bad on StreamYard. Hey, Michelle, Newton's Cupboard. Welcome, welcome. I just watched the first 30 minutes of her live sale that she had yesterday, and she had intended it for to go like an hour, maybe 2 hours. It went 5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So I sent her a message that said, holy cow, girl.
That's a long sale.
But she had some beautiful vintage Valentines, some
Oh,
really nice ones. And I understand there was quite the battle for them.
I can imagine. They're well sought after.
She had some pop-up ones. She had some ones that were flocked. She had some big ones and little ones, and she was selling them in lots. And I mean, she had run across them. She did a video about them. Michelle, I think you did a video where you had found them, and she kind of showed some of them. And I was like, oh, wow, those are really pretty. And she was like, oh, I'm going to sell them. I was like, I'd have kept every one of them.
Oh yeah, those would be hard to let go of.
So it'll take, like, if you notice, do you have where you can see the comments too?
That's what I was wondering. It just says chat with the host, but there's nobody there. Oh, maybe I should go to comments.
Yeah.
There they are. Okay.
Because if somebody from your channel comes in, I definitely want you to be able to acknowledge them. Or if there's a question in the chat. Michelle said she got them from an auction. I'm
Nice.
not auction.
You what?
I'm not brave enough to do an auction.
Yeah, I've never done an auction either.
So I want Michelle to do one of her Teach Me Tuesday segments on that. So we're going, I'm actually, my hope is that people will get to see this, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because it will play back. And know that there's a couple of sales coming up today as well. So first of all, just welcome. And I'm so excited, y'all. I'm just so excited because Carol from My Blessed Nest is my guest today. So welcome, Carol.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And y'all, I could not be more excited. As soon as she clicked on and we were in the broadcast room, I just started talking her head off because I'm super excited to kind of pick her brain about how she brings all of those vintage and antique finds that we're always searching for, but she also uses them in her home every day for everyday decor and then holidays. So I actually have a list of questions just for Carol. So I'm really excited. This is Carol from My Blessed Nest. And you guys, if you are not subscribed to her channel, please go do so and make sure that you hit all notifications because I did not have all notifications pressed and I missed one of her open collabs. So I was really sad about that, but now I know, and she's going to talk to us about some upcoming collaborations that she has as well. So all right, if you have any questions, if you're joining us or you come in, I want y'all to put it in the comments below. I will try to get questions from others. And Michelle says she loves your decorating, Carol.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that so much.
So when they come in, if you have a question for Carol or if you have a question for either of us, just put it in the chat. I'm hoping between 4 devices that we'll be able to see it when it comes in. All right. So the first is just to let everybody know what part of the country you're in the U.S. because I know Aaron is in Canada, but you're in the U.S.
Yes, I'm in Ohio.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought you were like northeast.
I don't know. Some people think I'm from Pennsylvania because I talk about Amish country all the time, but we
Yeah.
do have an Amish community here as well in Ohio.
Wow. You're right. I did think you were in that Pennsylvania area. Um, and I don't know why. I just thought that there's an Amish area here in Texas as well.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know
South
that.
Texas, there's a there's a little Amish community, South Texas.
That's
So I've yet to go, but I want to go. So we'll see. So I am actually in Texas. I'm originally from South Carolina, but I am actually in Texas, right outside of Houston.
okay.
So, and it has been so fun. This has really brought a lot of people together. So, what the first thing you want to know from everybody is kind of like, how did you get started thrifting? Have you always thrifted? Did you thrift as a child?
I did. I had a favorite aunt that took me thrifting with her, and I just caught the bug early. She loved to go garage sailing. Back in the day, garage sailing was her thing. Flea markets, she brought me up on them. And she would just call and say, "You want to go with me?" And we would take off for the whole day. And she had a van, and we would just load up the back.
Just load it up. That's why I have a.
And I loved it because she taught me how to haggle with people. And believe it or not, I was very, very shy when I was little, and she made me haggle. So I was appalled. I just thought you paid whatever they said. And she was like, "No, no, no, you can get a better deal. Watch me."
Oh,
And,
I can't do it. I just can't do it.
oh,
I mean, it's kind of like, okay, that's what you want. Okay, I think that's pretty fair.
I just channel my Aunt Bev. She's gone now, and I miss her so much, especially during the seasons when we would spend a lot of time together, which was the summer. But we really did all year, but mostly in the summer, we would go out to garage sales and flea markets. So I remember one particular occasion, she asked me, or I asked her to help me get this old radio for cheaper. I think the guy wanted it was more than $10, let's say $15, and I
Mm-hmm.
went for 10. And so he wouldn't take it. So she said, "We walk." So we walked, and I was like, "But I really want that radio." And she said, "We'll come back at the end of the day, and if it's still there, he'll sell it to us for 10." We went back, and he was very grouchy about us coming back and asking, but he gave it to us for $10. But I didn't have a $10 bill. I had a 20. My aunt was not impressed. She said, "Next time we haggle, you have the right change."
Oh yeah, because he would have been like, well, you could have paid more for that.
Yep, she was humiliated, and so I learned a lesson that day. I always carry a lot of $1 bills and change, and I haggle.
I would love. I can't even if it's not marked. You know how you go to like a flea market or
Yeah,
something. People just don't mark their stuff. Well,
right.
I can't even go, how much are you asking for this? And Michelle says she's done that before. I can't even ask. Now, I was shopping with Martha from Vintage Conversation and Tammy from Vintage Uprising, Texas. I get that wrong every time, and I've probably said her name 1,000 times. But they just pick it up and they go, "Hey, how much are you asking for this?" And I'm
Right.
like, "Did you just ask this?"
Are you afraid it's going to be more than you want and then it'll be awkward? Like more than you want to pay?
Yeah, I think that's it. Or I don't want to. a lot of not haggling is I don't want to offend them.
Right. I have a tip for you.
What? Okay, tell me.
This is how I started. If you don't want to pay what they have and you don't want to make an offer because it's just too awkward, just say, can you let me know what your best price on this is?
Your best price on that is.
Yeah, they never get offended, and that may be their best price, and they'll tell you. And then if you don't want it to be awkward, you just say, okay, I'll think about it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Done.
Practice that because next week, a week from today, we're going to like an open market, a big town market that they have.
Fun.
And I'm sure that this stuff is not going to be marked. It's an old Southern Texas town.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like you're out on blankets and, stuff like that. And I'm sure a lot of it is not going to be marked. And so I'll have to practice that, asking what their best price is and tell them that I'll think about it.
Yeah, because then there's no pressure and you say it nicely with a smile, and how can they argue?
Well, yeah, if I'm nice, how can they argue with that, right?
Right.
Well, one of the things that I'm fearful of is because I'm so new in naming the vintage. I mean, I know what is vintage. I got started the same. My great grandmother, born in 1905, I would stay with her in summers and things of that nature. So she was in the 70s, 80s when I would stay with her for the weekend. And I mean, she was up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my.
Getting dressed, waiting for it to be, 6, 7 o'clock so she could get to the yard sale. And I never understood why we had to get up so dadburn early.
You'll miss all the best stuff if you don't.
That's exactly what she said. All the good stuff will be gone.
My aunt always left really early and I hated that too, but I learned that's what you do.
Yeah. So we ended up, we would go all the time. And I never knew what name of anything was. She was, depression. She went through the depression era. So she sewed and she made dolls and she did clothes and all of this kind of stuff. So, she would buy, I would think, why is she buying that? It has a hole in it. She would cut the buttons, the vintage buttons off of it and use it for something else.
Oh,
Or she
did that too.
To make an apron or a doll dress or something. And so you go to her house and there'd be this much of everything.
Oh.
I've been doing this as long as I can remember. And, 5, 6 years old. And then, and the way that she got things for cheaper than buying them in the store, which was what the kind of budget that we had to live on, that became how we got things. And so I never knew that they were vintage. I just knew, oh, this was cool, it was old, or it was pretty.
Me too. And I liked vintage before it was cool.
Yeah. Well, I am vintage, so I'm pretty cool. Yeah. I found out that Etsy is calling anything 20 years and older vintage.
Right.
I grew up, when I started really thinking about vintage, I thought 30 and 40 years, and then antique over 100. And then, Etsy's over here going, oh, 2000 is vintage. And these people go, oh, I collect these 1990s toys. And I'm thinking, I had my first college degree in 91. I'm really old, people. I'm really old. So I never could. I was like, oh my God, I'm vintage.
I have a funny story about that.
Okay.
I thrifted some stickers. And when I was doing the haul, I said, they look vintage, but they're not. I flipped it over and I said, they're from 1990. And I went on. And later I was like, they were so vintage. That's 41 years old. Well, it would have been 40 at the time. And people were probably laughing at me thinking, She doesn't think 1990s vintage.
I don't, it's not, I don't consider it vintage. Just
Yeah.
like these toys, that Lisa Frank and all that, I don't consider that vintage because, hey, I probably still have some of those folders and notebooks around here somewhere, you know?
Yep. That's
So, you know, we've all been doing it for a long time. I just, you know, I watch Misty because her knowledge, like Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, and Aaron, and their knowledge of the stuff is just amazing.
mhm.
You know, but now Misty's been doing it all her life, and that's what her parents did. So they knew what they were looking for, and then they passed that down. But people that are just going because it was pretty, we don't really know that much about it. Let's be honest. And then you have to spend a week looking it up and asking friends. You know,
Yeah.
you know, Michelle. I know Michelle was talking about her vintage Valentines, and Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still here, but that they were from the 1900s and all the way to like 1940s, 19. It was a wide range. And so I think that's what caught people's attention is that some were written on, some were not. And she said that's really what it was. Because to me, I'm like, oh, that's old. You know,
Yeah.
you keep those in a Ziploc without displaying them because you don't want somebody to mess them up. I have a box full of stuff. And that's why I said I want to find out how Carol is okay because she says she has grandkids and do they touch your stuff?
Times. And well, just for instance, I have all the toys from when I was little, Fisher Price, and I had my husband build me a shelf and attach it way up high on the wall. So it's their room when they come. They haven't been here since we've had the shelf, and I'm going to see how it goes down. Are they going to be like, I want to play with that? Because, you know, there's certain things I don't allow them to play with because
Right.
they might destroy it. But we put it up on a shelf, and some things I might put away when they come. But, you know, for the most part, they just know what they're allowed to touch and what they're not.
And they always pick on me because my mom's like, it's not a showcase, it's a house. You know, people get to touch stuff and move stuff around here, you know. So let me ask this is what's your favorite thing to find? What do you get most excited about finding when you're in a thrift store?
Oh, well, there's so many things. I love globes. I
Clothes.
love, yes, bottle brush trees. Any time of the year, I will pick them up. Clocks.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw your clock collection. That's pretty impressive.
thank you. And most of those I bought when they were 50 cents, a dollar, maybe $2 on an expensive day. And now they're like $8 and up for the same
Mhm.
clock that I was thrifting my whole life.
And it was probably yours when it was before it was vintage.
Yes, yes, and before it was cool to collect clocks like that, people were thought they were junk, I'm sure. Let's see, recently, I was really, really thrilled to find like, this is my bucket list item, and now I'm accessorizing it. I found my Fisher Price dollhouse from 1969 from when I was a little girl.
I
With
saw that in a video, and I guess you had two yellow ones, and the set came with two green lounge chairs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now I have too many lounge chairs now
So
because
can you resell the lounge? Like, are those collectible pieces of the dollhouse?
yes, they really can go for some high money. We have an antique store really close to us, and I found a lot of of furniture and accessories, and it was $15. So just for a few pieces, so it can go for a pretty high. And since you asked that, I'm trying to get in at that antique booth. They're full, but I'm on the waiting list just to get a shelf of 7 shelves, and I'm gonna dabble.
And see how it goes. So
Yeah,
you don't sell it all right now. No.
not right now. No.
Okay. Or
In years past, I used to do eBay, and it just got to be so much work to research and list and get the right shipping box and all that.
And the pictures. I
Yeah.
understand pictures is a big deal, you know?
Yes. So this would suit me at this point in my life. I have a busy life, and I thought if I could just have a shelf with 7 shelves and I can check in, every couple days because it's right around the corner from my house and just keep putting new stock, I think I might like it.
Yeah, and I have a booth. Now I started because the only reason I really started reselling is because I was restoring and flipping furniture.
Okay.
And so um I got a booth for that. And it was I couldn't keep it in fast enough. People would buy my tables and they would buy the dressers and stuff. And so all I had was big pieces of furniture. So then I was like, I need to start doing some smaller pieces. And then I started doing so many that I didn't have anywhere to put them and I didn't use them in my house. I just wanted to see what the color combo would look like, or if I could use the glazing, or, and, Lovey's looking around like, babe, we're running out of space and we're not using it. You still have the same furniture. So what's going to give here? We
Mhm.
do something that's going to give. But I decided, my friend talked me into doing, well, I did a show, I split a booth with her. And it was such a horrible rainy day that day. The only thing that sold was one of my flip pieces of furniture. None of her didn't sell one piece.
Wow.
And so then I was promoting her, but I was showing my pieces, and I sold pieces from people seeing it on Facebook that said, "Hey, I didn't know you did that. I'm looking for this." And I'm
Oh,
looking,
nice.
well, I happen to have this. And then it just started disappearing. It was just selling as fast as I could make it. So she talked me into doing some of this flipping and selling at like one of the junk hippie markets. And so I did, and my first show was way more than I expected because
Mhm.
I sold almost everything.
That's awesome.
So, yes. Oh, hey, Miss Effie Smith. I don't know if Carol, if you know Effie, but
I do. Hi, Effie. I see her on my channel.
yes, and she does some great crafting. I went on the other day, and her grandchildren had taken over her YouTube, and they were doing some dances or so. It was so cute. I just had to watch because they were so cute. But she's done some crafting too, and she has the steady most. I said to her, "You have the most steady hand." You
Oh,
know, when I watched you paint that the snowman with the wreath sign, I was thinking, how do they have such a steady hand? I don't. I do not have that. And I have painted forever, but it's like going down. But the marker trick that you showed, where you
yeah.
outlined it in the black marker and then went back in and painted, I was like, well, outline it first, dummy, because I was always painting it and then outlining it to fix it.
Ah, yeah, it helps keep the paint inside then too, because that's your little barrier.
Yes. So
Really work.
uh I was like, oh God. And I actually have to do something with lettering because I don't have a Cricut either.
Yeah, I'm not planning on getting one.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Now everybody thinks I need one, but I don't know if I need to learn anything else right now.
I agree. I don't want to learn a Cricut, and I'm too cheap to buy the vinyl and all that. It's expensive.
They're like $200 and $300, or if they go on sale, they're like $100. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I was thinking, and then you got to buy the vinyl and the cutting tools and
Right. I'm
no,
not down for that. No. I like
but
my tracing paper.
you did carbon paper, and I've done that before. They also make a white carbon paper. And so when you trace it, when I do it on my darker colors, I've only done that one time, and it never dawned on me to do the darker one and outline it. And I thought, ugh, when I watched your video, I thought, geez, my knees, Manila Cuddy. You got all these pieces of paper on the wall that say how smart you are, and you hadn't figured that out.
Well, if it's any consolation, I forget every time. And then I go, oh, I should outline this.
Yeah. Afterwards.
Yeah.
So I know what is one thing that is the one thing that you're still on the hunt for? Like, what would you love to just find in the wild?
Well, if you had asked me that a couple weeks ago, it would have been the Fisher Price dollhouse, which I found. So let me think about that.
Did you find that at a yard sale or that antique mall?
The bins.
Oh, you found the dollhouse at the bins?
I was with my daughter. We walked in and I literally stopped breathing. I went, oh, and I pointed and she was like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, and I'm pointing and she's like, what? I like ran over to it. I was thinking in my mind, somebody is surely going to walk up and snatch this out from under my nose. I just know it. So I like ran over, grabbed it and put it in the cart. And then I inspected it. It was less than $5.
Well, it looked like it had a good many pieces and it looked in good condition.
Well, I didn't get much with it. I got a car, one person, and a chair. That's it. So I've been finding the others, on my own.
Did you find the one green lounge chair or were there two?
I found two different, first I found two lounge chairs together. I think they were the yellow. And then I found that big packet with the umbrella table and the grill and all that. That was the $15 packet. And my husband got me that for Christmas. So
I loved that video because you were like, I'm going thrifting for the presents my husband is going to give me for Christmas. And I thought, that's an amazing idea.
He kept asking me, what do you want? What do you want? And I couldn't think of anything new that I wanted. So I said, how about I thrift for my gifts? And he said, okay.
You got exactly what you wanted too, didn't you?
I did. And I didn't know what it was until I found it.
Well, my dad, of course, your parents at this age, they just give you money here. And I sent him a picture of the whole back end of my SUV where just what that money that he gave you, your dad gives you a certain amount of money every year. He gave me that money and I went to Goodwill and the bins and filled up the back of my 4Runner with that money. And he was like, holy cow. And I was like, I got all this for Christmas. Thanks, Dad.
I love it.
So he gave me money and literally I thrifted from about 9 o'clock in the morning till maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a full day outing and a full trunk of goodies.
That's an awesome day.
I could not have asked for anything better for Christmas at all.
Yeah.
So what do you think you're still looking for? Extra pieces or?
Yeah, I need some more pieces for my Fisher Price house. I guess this just came to me. I'm frantically trying to think of what, because I find so many things, and that was it for so long. Like I dreamt about the day I would find that dollhouse. Literally did. But
is it the one from 1967? Because they've had a couple of spinoffs.
Yes, 69. I was 5 years old when I got it for Christmas, and I sold it in a garage sale, probably for a couple bucks back in the day. But yeah, I would love to find like the schoolhouse or the farmhouse, the Fisher Price ones. I'm really into the Fisher Price toys right now. I never had those when I was little, but my cousins did. So I think that would be something fun to find.
Those old Fisher Price. Yeah. And there was I remember the schoolhouse. And is the farmhouse the one that has like the tall piece of it? And what do you call that? Where the grain, is that the one you're talking about?
What I remember about it is when you open the doors, it moves.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And then up top, it has little doors that open and the chicken went in there, or the rooster.
Yes. At the very tip top, at the little bazaar.
Yeah, and then they had a little white fence that you could set up and put your animals inside.
Hey, Erin. Yes, a silo. Thank you, Erin. So
Oh, Aaron is here. Yeah.
Michelle at Newton's Cupboard said she bought Little People the other day.
Ooh, tell us about it.
Yeah, yeah, we want to know where,
Yeah.
and have we seen it yet, and what kind were they? So, Erin, if you're just coming, I know you're just coming into the chat, and you missed me talking to Carol about how I'm just so blown away that I find all these goodies, and then you and Carol find the same things, except you turn them into magical displays in your home, and mine are still sitting in a box or a bag wrapped up, and I only bring them out for maybe one occasion. And so I said, I am picking this girl's brain to find out how to do that to make it look better in my house. So Erin was another one that I told you I was watching a lot, because she does her vignettes, and so she says, oh, I pulled all these things out, right? And so you did the same thing. I pulled a few things out, and then you're like, and the tiered tray, oh, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put this here, and I'm like, that would have taken me 2 days. It took y'all 10 minutes.
Well, you're only seeing the 10 minutes of the video, but that's a good point. What I do when I decorate is I mull things over. I bring everything out, and then I might say, oh, I think I like this here on the tray. And then I'll look at it for a while. No, maybe it looks better here. Oh, I could bring this out, and that would look good with this. So it is a process, and you just kind of have to fiddle. And I love doing that. It's
Yeah,
fun.
and the way that y'all, the doily drape, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so type A. My OCD is like, we don't do anything at an angle. Everything is linear, square, it has to fit in this box, which this is actually helping me. Watching other people do that is actually helping me say, okay, it can be at an angle. Everything doesn't have to be, symmetrical hanging on your wall. You can have a shelf like on the other side. It's okay. You don't have to have the same three of the same thing. But when
Yeah.
I watch guys' videos, that's why I like the collaborations that you do. Because not only do I see your thought process kind of, but in that playlist, I get to see how other people interpret the same thing.
Yeah,
Really, really, I mean, I really enjoy those collaborations.
I do too.
So Erin is saying Carol is so good at displays. Hey, Miss Jeannie, Norma Jean +1, and her daughter is here. So thank y'all for coming in. I've told them that it's Heather is her daughter's name, right? It's Heather. Heather, I think that's Heather. Because I have a friend that looks almost just like Miss Jeannie's daughter, and I keep saying I think that's Heather because my friend's name is Stacy, but they look almost exactly alike. So I'm glad to see. I saw Heather just posted. Was it an Instagram? No, a YouTube or an Instagram? And she's having a sale. Like everything is $3.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she's clearing out. So I did see that the other day that she's going to be having like a $3 sale. So, all right. So we found out that you're just wanting more of the Fisher Price different sections. So the farmhouse, we're looking for those things,
Yeah.
and the school as well. Where do you like to thrift the most? Like, do you like garage sales or antique stores?
I love it all, but I will say for good prices, garage sales and those rummage sales at the church. Have you ever done that?
No.
Oh, they have the cheapest prices you will ever see in your life. 10 cents, a quarter, 50 cents. I just can't believe it.
I
So,
would go on a dime at a time.
yeah. So for good pricing, I love that. And for like if I'm looking for something that's hard to find, I might go to an antique. store, that has a good selection, but I don't like their prices as well, so that's more of a splurge.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't really done. Now, I did one garage sale and it was kind of like an estate sale, and I was actually pretty impressed. Lovey, who says I have a lot of things,
mhm.
he's actually created we've created, taken a bedroom away and made like a studio, and he built me this beautiful shelving system, so that I can get my things in order. But we're working on the garage right now. And he came home. He had run to the store for something. He goes, "Hey, I saw a sign for an estate sale right up the street." And he goes, "I thought maybe you'd like to check it out." And I thought, oh, he does love me. He told me where an estate sale was up the street.
Let's go.
Well, he let me go. He was like, he's not going. He's going to watch football. But I still have that. And I probably did that back in June or July. And y'all,
Mhm.
the box is sitting right here. Still, I have not, I took a picture of it and actually sold things out of it just from the picture. And
Mhm.
I've yet to haul it. I've yet to do a haul video on it. There's just so much. So,
Well,
about the bins.
I do love the bins, and it's hit or miss for me. I found an amazing coffee can there for 55 cents that
I saw that up here. I like it up here.
yeah, thank you. That's one of my favorite bin finds, and of course, the Fisher Price house was at the bins.
Hmm.
Um, I take my gloves and I dig. I learned from Nicole Northgarden to look
Love
on
her.
the bottom. Me too. Look on the bottom, pull up all the stuff everybody looks at, and look on the bottom, and you might find some treasures.
Now, I didn't know that. So, tip number 5 that I've learned today is kind of push everything to the size. But her bins, in her videos, I
I
mean,
It's
it's just
amazing what she finds. But
yes,
can we go back to estate sales?
yes. Go back to estate sale.
Did
Uh,
want to let you know a tip on those too, because I love estate sales. In our area, the last day is 50% off. Is it that way around you?
Well, I have now been to 3 estate sales. One, my very first one, I did for my Vintage First challenge with Patrick. And my friend said, "Hey, there's a estate sale." And I went. Now, we couldn't film in there. I
Yeah.
spent like bucks, but this was the house of McCoy and Shawnee. She had 200 McCoy and Shawnee cookie, like mostly McCoy
Oh,
cookie from, I mean, way back. But this was a massive 2-story house and a 2-car garage and a barn. And that was my first one. And I got some of the things that I had just learned about from being like the names that I was talking about. And
yeah.
then a little neighborhood one. And then I went to one in a neighborhood around here. And yes, when I showed up on the door, and I thought, oh, I'll just run in real quick. It will be busy. And I did a video about it because I pulled into the neighborhood, not the street, but the neighborhood. And there were cars lined up. I thought, oh, somebody's having a birthday party. No, they were in line to get in and it had been like a 4-day sale.
Mhm.
This was like the last day, and it was 75% off.
I hit that one time. So, I mean, you can't even beat those prices.
No,
I
no.
do love estate sales.
Yes. Now I don't go to very many. I'm still kind of getting over the fact that people are just digging through someone's dresser drawers or closet and but I'm like, let me just look at the books and stuff. I'm not digging through their clothes. No, I'm not doing that. But let me catch up with the chat because I want to say good morning to everyone. And it looks like so Erin came on. I'm so excited, and she says that her parents have that one that her kids used to play with. I think it's either the treehouse or that Michelle was talking about, or one of the other ones. Michelle said she knows nothing about those Fisher Price houses. She just saw a video that they can sell really well.
Yes, they do.
She said she got about 60 for $6 at Goodwill, but haven't recorded the haul yet. Michelle, 60 little people or 60 pieces of furniture for a house?
Either way, that's a great deal.
And Erin it said, and y'all, we got to chit chat and I forgot to look at the chat part.
Yeah.
Carol, Erin said that she does bring things out, and it's out for like a week before she tries to put it together. So she putzes for a couple of days before she actually well, y'all make it look so easy. I just thought y'all were just whipping that stuff right out.
We need to do a behind the scenes video for Beth.
Yeah, like, what does this really look like? Because I was really beginning to think I was inept. Like, they can do this, and Michelle said little people is what she found.
That's amazing, Michelle. Wow.
And good morning, Janice. Janice Stevens is here.
Hi, Janice.
And Erin's agreeing. Rummage sales. Those are her favorite. Rummage sales. 10 cents. She loves it. Yes, Evie, that farmhouse is a barn. That's what I thought with the silo, which Erin gave me the word for. And then Katie, good morning, Katie, Vintage and Vinyl. Katie is like maybe 10 people away from 1,000. So, and that's a girl that knows her glass, her vinyl. There's just some of everything. Katie, you're on my list to put on my monthly. I am having a monthly segment where someone that I really want to get to know, that I've watched their videos and I want to know more about, how did they learn this? Where did they get their ideas and things of that nature? That's how it kind of got started. And I started with Carol at My Blessed Nest. And I'm going to say again, if you're not subscribed to Carol's channel, and if you haven't watched, make sure you go and watch, because yes, we are pulling and loving all these vintage items, but she is one, like I've said before, Erin and Nicole Northgarden and Julie Thrill Thrifter, they are all showing me how to take those items that they're finding and then display them so beautifully in their home. Now I know that they do think about them and ponder them for a little bit. So I feel a little bit better about myself. So yes, Janice agrees that their church rummage sales are hard to find in some areas. And I don't find them very often here. Is St. Vinny's a rummage sale, or is that an actual store? Because I hear a lot of people shopping there.
I think it's an actual store. From what Nicole Northgarden goes there, I think she said it's like a charity shop, maybe, where the proceeds go for something, but I'm not positive.
Maybe the St. Vinny's. I can't remember. We don't have one. And I went to one Salvation Army when I was back in South Carolina visiting, and it literally was probably the size of my living room. There's probably 10 things that I filmed that as I'm editing, I realized I should have gotten them.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Oh, that's the worst feeling ever.
We need to review the footage in our car before we leave.
We need a plan. We need a plan, Carol, so we don't regret it once we get home and realize somebody has already picked it up. So
yeah.
Little Treasures by Nancy. Thank you so much for coming to our chit chat today. She said she's new to my channel, so thank you for coming.
Hi, Nancy.
Is Nancy one of the people that follows you, or do you?
I don't recognize Nancy.
So, and you know what I found is some people have more than one YouTube channel, like a business one, and then like I would have one that's Beth, and then I'd have one that's Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart, so I just made one. But I sometimes am talking to the same person, or think I'm talking to two different people, and I'm talking to the same person. But nonetheless, thank you so much for coming, Little Treasures by Nancy. I hope you'll come back and come to one of our other events that we're having. Let's see. Oh, and she subscribed to My Blessed Nest, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Janice is saying bottom and middle of the bins where people dare to go.
Mm-hmm. Get your gloves.
fun. I've never had a problem, but I've only been to the bins 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was what I wanted for my birthday. And my thrifter friend was like, for your birthday, I'm going to take you to the bins. I could have cried. I just,
Oh, I would have too. That's the best way to spend a birthday.
yes. And we're never in there for less than 3 or 4 hours. And ours is very small. Ours is nothing like Nicole's. Nicole is just, I just want to go up there. I'll brave the snow just to go to the bins where Nicole goes.
Girl trip.
Yeah. Bring your parka, ladies, because we're going to the bin. And wading through the snow because she has a lot of snow.
Yes, she does.
When I went the first time, I hit one bin that must have been somebody's great grandmama or grandmama's house. And I got 40 something doilies and vintage tablecloths and things that day.
Oh, that's nice when you find a pocket of something you love.
One. It was just one area. And I just kept pulling them out. Surely no. And it was the whole set. Like it was a crocheted, I recorded it, but I sold one of the pieces, a crocheted or tatting, whatever they're calling it, like a coverlet for a bed and
Wow.
somebody saw the video and literally bought that from the haul. And I bring it home. Everything goes straight from the car to the washing machine. And I'm sure you're not supposed to wash that stuff, but I do.
You have to, yeah.
And let's see who else is here. Yeah, the bins. Oh, I love that. Oh, yes, Janice Stevens. She says that one was in Richmond. Tons of cookie jars. Yes, that's the estate sale that I went to. Well,
too.
I don't know if it was yes, it was in Richmond. It was like the side area. Richmond is like a town here. So Janice, are you local? Because that would be so fun. But yes, that was tons of cookie jars. And if she had one cookie jar I stopped counting at 100.
Oh,
And
wow.
this was the second day of the sale. And they had already sold probably about a third of the stuff, which there was a lot more to go on. But I stopped counting cookie jars at 100.
Wow.
What did you do with all that? I mean, I like cookies, but
Come on.
come on. Katie, you never been to the bins? She said they don't have any.
Aw, poor Katie. You haven't lived.
Yes. You've definitely got to do that. She said Nicole found Wedgwood in the bins.
Wow. She's found those ceramic Christmas trees in the bins. Whew. It's amazing the stuff she finds.
And Michelle Newton's Cupboard said she found a ceramic Christmas tree at the bins, and all the pieces to go in the holes.
That's amazing because they're usually missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janice, she's in a neighboring town of mine, which is Katy. I am so excited.
That's awesome.
Yes. Okay, Janice, if you have Instagram or Facebook, message me because we have a group of ladies. We actually have a day trip. It's a group of YouTubers and vintage collectors. We are going up to Wharton. Janice will know where that is. Wharton is having a market day next weekend, but also I understand that Round Top, which is they have this huge thing in October. It's this huge, I guess, a vendor antique. It's for miles and miles and miles, but they're having a smaller version next weekend too. I just don't know if I can be in 2 places at one time, but we're going to go to the Wharton one and then shop the little areas in Wharton. So Janice, yes, make sure that you message me. We would love to meet up and thrift with you. That would be so fun.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. So, and that's what I was going to ask you, Carol, is, when did you start YouTube? Like, what made you start YouTube?
Well, this is funny. Last night, I was cleaning off my phone because we got new phones this morning. And I found, like, I call it my pilot YouTube that never went live. I was practicing. It was awful. And, and all the stuff I said was things that I felt before I started my YouTube that I kind of forgot about.
Uh-huh.
It was nice to review. But when I originally, first of all, I hadn't heard of YouTube, and my husband was always watching these videos about woodworkers and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he told me it was YouTube, and I hadn't even heard of it. So I started watching, and I found a whole new world, and all these things that I was interested in. And actually, Erin from the collection Vintage is one of the first ones that I ever watched. And
Yeah, me too.
it took me a while to get used to her new name, but now I can't remember her old name. Do you? Erin?
No, she switched it up.
Yeah.
It's same words in it, but she switched it up.
Well, anyways, when I first started watching her, of course, she was the old name. And Rachel from Sweet and Simple Home. And I started watching all these people thrift, and it was like, wow, this is so fun. And anyways, when I was watching that pilot video, I was all over the board. I was talking about I was going to do organizing and cooking and thrifting and crafting. And so, of course, when I first started my channel, I did dabble in all of that. And now I've kind of niched down. But it was just like, well, I have a lot I could share, and this looks so fun. And I just want to try it. I think I could do it. And it was a lot harder than I thought to get on camera. And my first ones, my shoulders were stiff, and I thought I was smiling so big, and I was like this. And I would watch it, and I'm like, that's not how I thought I was coming across.
In my mind, I was gorgeous. My makeup was great,
I did a fabulous job in my mind. So I did practice for a while. And then I eventually got the guts to, go live. And it was with a challenge. It was the $5 Goodwill challenge with Hillary at Old World Home. She was another one I started out watching. And I thought, well, I can do that. And so I did. And
do that challenge was live, like you had to do it live.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I say I went live, I mean I finally actually posted.
I was like, oh my gosh, you have to thrift live? I couldn't keep up.
It sounds like a game show on TV or something.
Katie is saying gentle, thrifty mama.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Forget.
Had collection in it. I don't know. I think I'm always thinking of Martha with Vintage Collection. No, Vintage Conversation. Erin is the collection Vintage, right?
Yeah, it took me a long time to learn her new name, and now I can't remember her old name.
Yeah. So, yes, I will say that me posting on YouTube was a complete accident.
Really?
So I had been watching, well, whenever you need to know how to fix something, or, you're like, oh, so, the car needs this. Well, as someone who lived alone, my mom was like, YouTube it.
Yeah.
How to do it. But I had been watching Jamie Ray Vintage. And I told you before we got started, I watched Jamie Ray Vintage for a long, long time. And then she started mentioning some other YouTubers. And when I would go look at, and one of them was Crazy Lamp Lady, Jocelyn. And so, you just go and check that person out because she's saying she does the same thing. And I know that Jamie Ray did this whole thing that was Thrifting Thursday or whatever. They thrift at this one place and they come over. She had no problem. She tells you what she paid for it. And then on camera, she and her husband transform it right there. They paint it. They put molding on it. They, distress it, and they literally change it in front of your eyes.
Nice. That's fun.
I was like, this is my new best friend. She and I have been soulmates forever. We just never met. Because that's exactly what I was doing. My friends here do different things. Nobody really wants to deal in junk. And I'm the one picking up stuff off the side of the street, dragging it home, go get the truck, Lovey, I found a table.
And we don't tell our friends that don't understand.
Right. So, it's hard. Like, we have that different groups of friends. And I just thought, nobody really does what I did. And when I started selling my pieces, it took more time to do that. And you lean more towards those people that are teaching you things like Jamie Ray or whatever. And I was watching Rethunk Junk by Laura too. That's the first person that I started watching with the painting is Rethunk Junk by Laura. She's now bought a new school, a whole school that was, they emptied a school. The school was going to relocate or whatever. She bought the entire school building and all its sections. They have remodeled it. That's where her paint line is. That's where her family lives, in the different classrooms and in sections of
Oh my gosh.
And she is on YouTube and everything. But that's who I started watching. And then that led me to Jamie Ray, and that led me into this. And I told you that, once I started watching that, it kind of gets your content, the idea of content you like. And I found Erin and then you, and I was like, oh, wait, not only are they thrifting people, they also love to use them as decoration. I love to decorate. So, y'all, I have to tell a story that I've already told, Carol this morning, is that I did Erin's vignette challenge, and there was a challenge of yours that I did really on too. But I told Carol that I had to look up the word vignette. It was not in my vernacular. I mean, I just didn't know what, I didn't know it was like a collection of stuff that went together. I was thinking, well, just say it's a display, but now I'm fancy. I use it. So I did. I did not know what it was, and I got to watch. I wouldn't do a challenge forever because I would watch everybody's playlist first, and then I go, okay, I'm going to do the next one, and then I thought, no, theirs is going to be way better.
Well, that's funny, and I jumped in with a collab because I thought I'd get my feet wet that way.
Hosting one or just doing?
Being a part of one, yeah. The $5 Goodwill challenge with Hillary at Old World Home, and she changed her name too, didn't she?
I'm not sure. I watched a challenge that was a $5 Goodwill challenge, and I was like, you know what? That would be fun to make me and my friends and my mom and all that do that. But it would also be fun. It would be fun to do another one with the group of ladies that I have here. But I also thought about doing one where it was a 30-minute. You get 30 minutes. And so what can you buy in 30 minutes?
That's an excellent idea. I love it.
We should do that one because it would be interesting. Now I thought it could either be a 30-minute Goodwill, or because that kind of levels the playing field versus antique or whatever, or we can just say a 30-minute thrifting.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes, you kind of like have to show that you're starting and stopping. But the pressure of, because we'll be in there 2 hours in one Goodwill. I can be in Goodwill for 2 hours.
That is a little bit of pressure. And what if they don't have anything good? Then do you start your 30 minutes over and go somewhere else?
Could ebb and flow. But I just thought it would be fun to see, what you could find. I think you could find something that you could use. But I like the way y'all do it, where you have to tie it into your decor. That's what I really, really, really like.
Yeah.
So don't you have you just did a collab?
I did. Yes. The Winter Wonderland tiered tray collab. I love tiered trays. In fact, let's see if I can show it. There it is.
For the winter with the.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
y'all check out that playlist. I did watch that playlist. It was so funny because Julie from Thrilled Thrifter, she did hers. It's beautiful, and then like 2 weeks later, she took it apart because it just wasn't working.
I saw that when she remade it for her coffee bar.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
mean, she thought, oh, I'll use this open sugar to put the straws, the little paper or wooden spoons in, and I thought, well, I'd have never thought about that. I'd have been like, no, I can't use it. It doesn't have a lid.
I think my mind works like Julie's. I see something and I automatically, my wheels start turning. What could I use that for that's not obvious? I don't know. It just works that way.
So y'all go check, if you're watching, check out the playlist, or at least Carol's video on how she did a collab where she hosted. It was an open collab, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she hosted that winter tiered tray. Now you have another one, right? Coming
I
up.
do. I have my planner here so I can get the date right. It's February 3rd, which is a Wednesday, and it's called All You Need Is Love. It's a tiered tray collab for Valentine's Day, and it's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So tell us how, now what's the difference between an open collab and just a regular collab for those that don't know?
Okay, open means if you're on YouTube, you're in. You can participate. And
Okay.
if it's a closed collab, then it's by invitation only. So I've participated in both and have hosted both as well. So sometimes the closed ones, it's a little more doable size of a playlist to watch because they can get so big. But usually mine don't get that big that people can't watch them all.
And then how do they, like, because I'm going to work really hard. Actually, I'm going to go to my shop and get my tiered tray that I'm selling and bring it back home. So I can.
Yay!
I made a tiered tray, put some pieces together and made a tiered tray. And every time I make one, they sell. So if I go there this coming weekend and it's still there, I'm going to bring it back home. And if it's not, I have a whole box of stuff right over here that I could put together to make a tiered tray. So how do we, if we want to participate, how do we do that?
Okay, so I am a firm believer in open, this is hard to say, open interpretation of my collabs. There's just a few rules. If you want to show us putting the items on and fiddling with them, you can do that. If you want to have it all set up and you want to show it, that's fine too. As long as you have a tiered tray and as long as you decorate it for Valentine's Day, I'm happy. So
if connected to the actual, like to let you know that they participated or they did it.
Oh, how do I know? Did you say how do I know they're wanting to?
Like if I want to do it, how do I know that I participate? Do I just make a video and say this is what I did, or?
Yeah, make your video and then I will have a playlist. I always post the playlist the night before in case there's problems. And I have it in my planner. That's going to be February 2nd at 7 p.m. is when I'm going to actually post the playlist. So once you have your video all made, you can put it on the playlist and then just set it to deploy the next day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So you would upload your video, schedule it to do it at that particular time that you say all of them will air.
Yeah.
And you need to add, I think when I did it before, you helped me when my first one that I did with you, we had to say, you go into here, you add playlist, and that playlist is available to you. Because I know on your community tab, with the one I did with you and Erin, I think we posted to say, yes, we wanted to participate. So y'all could be on the lookout for us. But my goal is to really I'm actually going to do this one. I found red fairy lights at the Dollar Tree.
Ooh, that sounds pretty.
Battery operated red fairy lights. So I really want to incorporate, my tiered tray is that farmhouse white. And I really want to, and I found this big round, I don't even know what it's called, but a basin like thing at the bins. And I
Mhm.
have a video coming up about that in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to put that and then the tiered stand and then
Mhm.
somehow incorporate all the love.
Oh, yes. You'll have a lot of room to decorate then. That'll be so fun.
Yes. So Janice asked, how many videos do you post, or when you have enough content, or every week? How do you determine when you post?
When I first started, I was way over posting for my comfort. So
It's a
I've,
lot.
what's that?
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is a lot of work. So I kind of, my magic number is 2 videos a week. And I try to plan them out a couple months in advance, but leave room for things that might come up that I'm interested in participating in. And I'm trying to do, um, I've niched down and I'm doing thrifting is my main thing. But then I've also kind of paired that with um, DIY trash to treasure. And
Hmm.
so I thought they kind of went together because I'm actually finding things when I'm thrifting and then turning them into something else. So that being said, I try to post 2 a week. Sometimes there'll be 3. That Sunday fun day when I participated in always gets me by surprise. It's on a Sunday, of course, and so sometimes I'll have 3 that week. But I really try hard to limit it to 2 so that I have time to, put out the quality that I want, and I'm not running around like a crazy woman filming every minute and editing every minute. So 2 is
Well,
my number.
abs. And I will say that that's how I learned about far more channels that had the same interest. Is you do go in and look at their playlist, and you get to see the interpretation of that. So I really like the collaboration. I did one of the first one with Nicole Nesting Haven, which was the Halloween.
Yes.
Um, and I just didn't know. Oh, I was so excited, like it was my debut. But I did it, and it was a lot of fun. But then you see everybody else's, and then you realize, oh my gosh, they have a channel. Oh my gosh, love watching their videos. And so the collabs, y'all, have been a lot of fun for me. For me, I work a 40, 60, 50 hour a week job outside of the home. And then you have your everyday life stuff here. This summer wasn't a whole lot of room for me because the house was under construction during a pandemic and I didn't have anywhere to go. So I
Uh,
sat with all these people doing construction, banging all day. So I did thrift a great deal this summer because I just had to get out of the house.
yeah.
But then you need to, people want to see what you got.
Mhm.
I know that people like the shop along. So when I thrift, if I'm allowed, because in our Goodwills, you are not allowed to film, um,
Uh,
it can actually get you banned from Goodwill. I'm like, how did you ban somebody for Goodwill? Um, but I go to the bins and I do film there. I've actually had somebody say, are you filming? And I said, yes. Am I going to get in trouble? And she was like, just no faces or whatever, but everybody's got a mask on anyway. So,
yeah.
um, you can't really tell. But I think people enjoy especially right now when people can't get out, they really like the shop alongs right now. And then of course they want to see what you got, but because you don't want the video to be 45 minutes to an hour long, at least for me,
Yeah.
um, I try to do the shop along, and if it's going to be really long, I'll break it into 2 parts if I get a lot of footage, and then I'll do the haul in 1 to 2 parts. So I actually schedule them to answer Janice's question. I actually schedule them on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock is when mine post. Now I was also doing my Trash to Treasure Thursday,
Mhm.
but quite honestly, I don't have time every Thursday or during the week to actually paint or transform. I only have 2 of those videos out. And then I had people asking me because I kept talking about my sweet treats, which is how my business got started. And then I combined the sweet treats and the flipping of furniture and everything else. It just kind of sweet treats and pretties.
Mhm.
That's how it came to be about. But I had a couple of people asking me specifically to show them how to make something. And so I did 2 bake with me videos. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of like you. I enjoy doing all of those things. What is easiest for me to get out in a timely manner with good quality is the thrift with me and the shop along. But right now it's just one video a week, unless I'm feeling really spicy, then I can do 2.
You know, I've talked myself into videos thinking, oh, that's no big deal. I can handle that. And then it's like that 3 just puts me right over.
Now y'all do something called the Flippin' Friday, or with Board and Bananas.
Yes, yes. We just had that actually yesterday. And the next one is February 19th. And that is an open collab if anybody wants to participate. You just take something and flip it into something else. You
Now, do
can,
you always use that stuff, or do you flip it where you could, like, I know Nicole says she uses hot glue so she can pop it off and use it another way, but do you typically use the things in your home?
most everything I've done so far, I use in my home. I did one sign that I believe it was a Flippin' Friday, where I specifically wanted to make the sign for my daughter for Christmas. And
Mhm.
so that was a way for me to get a video in and get a present made. So why not? But
Double.
yeah, I can't think of anything else. I did make a present once for actually one of my friends that subscribes to the channel for her retirement. The little, um, what were they? Candy corn. They were like 3 little candy
Oh
corn.
yeah, are they wooden?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I made that, and I actually made myself one as well. But I made her one and gave away. But pretty much everything else I keep, and I haven't yet changed anything up. But I don't know if anybody saw the video I did yesterday for the Flippin' Friday with the little snowman sign. I kind of made it with the thoughts that it's very versatile, that I
Yeah.
can just use the sign, or I can just use the um, wreath, or I can put it together. So I try to think like that. And when I make signs, if they're able to be made two-sided, I'll make them two-sided. Or I might do Valentine's Day on one side and Christmas on the other. And
Yeah.
then, or my one of my favorites was I did a welcome sign that I could use any time of the year, and on the other side I did Halloween or fall. And then I don't have to store it.
Yeah, there you go. That was another thing, is where do we store all this stuff, right?
Yes.
I was flipping furniture so fast. And furniture you can't just put in a box and put somewhere. And we don't use our attic because it is so hot. Things just deteriorate up there. And we don't have we use the garage, but I'm a former teacher. So I have a lot of stuff. And, as when you get into administration, I'm now in the administration part and things. And your biggest fear is, I'm going to need that stuff, because what if I have to go back to teaching?
Yeah.
So you're fearful to get rid of it, but it's not really doing anything but collecting dust. Although those vintage wall decors and classroom displays for the holidays, I probably have 200 of those out there and didn't even know that they were. And I got them from teachers who had retired before me, because as a new teacher, I was too broke to buy my own stuff. So these are that really old, with that fan out. What do you call that when they come out?
Oh, I love those. I don't know what they're called right offhand.
Called, y'all, where it fans out and you have to clip them together. I
Mhm.
have, and the name. I know they were like, I know that people were showing the name of them, and they were, especially at Halloween. And I was like, I got 15 of those in the garage.
Ah.
I just can't get to them. So we're gonna clip it out. So hold on. There's a lot of. I want to make sure that I get all of the questions. Let me see. Katie says she started with George's collaboration, Show Off Your Bunker, which I think started right at the pandemic. And then
Yes, it did.
joined with Carol as well. And yes, she does. And is it Miolo Vintage? I know I'm going to pronounce that wrong, and I'm so sorry. Good morning to you. Um, Michelle says, I'm hoping that the tier tray I bought from Misty comes in for the Valentine's Day one.
If not, and you have a couple things you can temporarily put together, go for it. I did that for my first tiered tray. I just set an old Yankee candle jar, put it on a plate, and put a plate on top, and it works.
Well, there you go. It's tiered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Katie says she posts 2 videos a week, but Katie also does some amazing lives too.
Yes, I love her lives and her saucy novels.
Yes. And yes, Michelle did get the flower frogs, a big old bucket full of the vintage prickly in all different sizes flower frogs. She has a ton of them now.
Oh, wow.
So I'm waiting to find one of those in the wall. I have a couple of glass ones, but I don't have any of the prickly ones. And I have one jar that's coming up and that I have stashed away for a live sale. And it actually has it's glass heart shaped. It's like a green tinted one. And the top of it has a flower frog, a metal flower frog that's domed in that. I found.
Wow. That sounds awesome. I actually bought a set of 5 of the prickly ones, as you call them, off of eBay for $20.
I think Michelle, what did you get that whole, she had been coveting that bucket for a while at the store. And I don't know if it went on sale or what, but she just showed that in a video that I watched the other day of hers. She says she's got to go, but she does. There's one there for that. Hey, Tammy with Vintage Uprising, Texas. I was about to send the troops out looking for you because I haven't seen you in a while. So she's also here, and she is one that Martha and I went to Round Top with. And I mean, she'd been every day. We went one day, and I mean, we literally covered maybe this much of it, and it's miles and miles and miles. But she travels any and everywhere. She's the one I was telling you before we got started that goes to all these little tiny Texas towns, and she finds the best stuff.
Awesome.
Is it Melolo Vintage? If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. Tell me your first name and I won't mess it up. Hopefully, I probably will. Y'all, I'm from South Carolina. So I actually do everything on my phone. I had an iPhone 6S, and that's what I was doing the first part of my videos and stuff for. But the battery actually exploded, so I had to get a new phone. And now I got an 11S, and I record, I edit using iMovie, and I post to YouTube, and I do my StreamYard. I do everything on my phone. What do you use, Carol?
I just got a new phone today. It's the 12 mini. Before that, I was using the Apple 7, and I film on that. But right now, I'm on my Mac computer. That's what I use for lives. But I also use iMovie. And so sounds like we have similar setups.
Yeah, I like iMovie. I mean, I don't need a bunch of bells and whistles. I'm not gonna. And if they have them, I don't even know how to use them because y'all are lucky I can use this. The first 2 days I couldn't answer the phone. So what does that tell me? I'm not a tech girl at all. I'm not. I am still I have an old notebook, and I'm sure that this notebook is vintage. Look at this notebook, y'all. I'm sure this notebook is vintage, and the reason that I say this is because it went through 3 years of kindergarten. So apparently they didn't write very much in theirs, but we went through 3 years of kindergarten with that notebook, and I haven't taught kindergarten for 8-9 years. That was the last time I taught kindergarten. Before that, I hadn't taught kindergarten for another 10. I'm at year 28 in education because I told you I'm old. Trying to go part-time next year because I'm old. Okay, so it's Manal. Now that name I know. Manal, I do know that name. Milolo Vintage, but I know the name Manal. You have been in several chats before that that I have been in as well. But yes, I like iMovie. To me, it's really, really easy. Um, let's see. Tammy uses InShot on her iPhone. And Janice, if I can send a text, most of the time there's about 12 misspelled words or typos in my text because I voice text. I
Oh,
got
dangerous.
glasses because I'm apparently blind and I need progressives. But I find that seeing far, great. I find that seeing this way, great. But anything for the computer, you're kind of doing this number here. So I am not techie. So I try to voice chat, like voice text, where it dictates speech to text.
Yeah.
But Siri does not understand my drawl at all. So when I'm saying words, she's like, what? And she will put like, I'll say house and she writes dog. And I'm like, no, we're not even close to that. Siri, get the context. Get the context. And Katie says she uses her MacBook too. So when you go thrifting, do you do it? Do you go out looking for something particular, or you just go and then you use what you find when you get home?
Generally, I go and I'm open to whatever I find that I love. People will ask me in a store, "Can I help you find something?" And I'll say, "No, I don't know what I'm looking for until I find it." Now, there have been times when I've wanted to thrift something in particular, like for my grandkids or for a particular collab or something. But usually I go with an open mind and just love the thrill of the hunt. I just never know what I'm going to find that'll speak to me. And my taste is continually changing. I find that like this year, it's all about the deer.
Yeah, but you got a cute deer from Stephanie.
Yes, I did, and that kinda started it, like, right after I, bought that on her live sale, I went to the Goodwill and I walked in and there was a Ziploc bag, like a gallon-sized baggie full of deer. I think it was $6, I'm pretty sure. That started me out.
And then did the book you found, there's a kid's book or an old book. Was that deer flocked in the book?
Yes, I didn't know it until I got it home, and I brushed my hand against it accidentally, and I went, "No." So I went through the whole book and was feeling the deer because not all of the deer, it was just the one main character that was flocked. So I figured that out, and I was like, "Oh, flocked and deer all in one."
Yeah, that was a pretty cool find. And the light box that I was talking about when my comment was, if you look at that video right when you first go in, on the top shelf near the back, there is a red vintage Christmas light bulb or string.
Oh.
And I was like, the box, get the box. And I know Katie, you picked up a great vintage a Christmas light box, but this one, it was on the top shelf. It's red. As soon as you started the video, there's a red vintage Christmas light box there.
I tried to twist that all around in my mind. Does she mean a box that's painted lightly, like a light color? I could not figure.
Christmas box. It was a box of Christmas lights. I should have said, sorry, but yes, and I was going, look up, and you literally touched the thing like right in front of it, which when I'm editing, I see the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, you don't see that, and then you voice over and you're going, yes, I do see that now, y'all, and I should have picked that up.
I think were we talking off camera when we said we should go out in our vehicle and review the footage
Before we leave the store. That's the trend, everybody. When you're in there and you're filming, which is hard to do and shop.
Yes, it is.
You have one hand, unless you're going to wear a GoPro. And I do know some YouTubers that wear a GoPro. Or isn't that what it's called? The camera, the GoPro. So one hand, and you're trying to check for chips and cracks, and you're looking to see what the maker is. You're looking to see, is it the right color, the right size? And then you miss so much of the other things. So the new trend, y'all, is if you're going to film, step out of the store, go sit in the car, review the footage, and then go back and get all the stuff that you missed. That's our tip from Carol and Beth today. That's going to be the new trend going forward.
It amazes me the things I look over and I'm like, oh, why didn't I look at that?
Yeah. So yeah, Katie, I saw that. I saw that box. She got one that was $2. And hey to Dragonfly Attic. Her name is Beth as well. And she is on Instagram. Now, Beth, remind me if I'm wrong. You're not doing YouTube lives yet. I can't remember if she isn't doing YouTube or if she isn't doing YouTube lives yet. So she and I kind of started talking, we're both Beth, so we kind of started talking about that. And you said before when we were scheduling that you did a live sale. Now, was that a live YouTube sale? You had done one before?
No, I've never done a live sale myself.
You've
No.
done a live chat.
Yes, I used to do organization chats, and I would, take questions ahead of time or on the fly, and we would talk about organizing.
Yeah, that's something that I actually do. My mom went and she does a bunch of the organizing. She went to classes and I, with the OCD, it's easy to organize, right?
Right.
So, but I do a lot of organization. I actually taught that at school before school started to say, teachers, psst, hey, this is how you need to organize, so that you can find things like our children's books, how you can lump them and categorize them and stuff like that. But if I could just purge, the part that I'm missing from the organization is the purging.
Well, I'm hoping if I get into an antique store with the shelving unit that I want to rent, that will help me purge. Because I have
At least from your house to that store.
Yeah. Well, then I hope it sells.
Yeah. One of the things that I said is that if my store, now this has been where I have my stuff is at Glen Flora Emporium in Glen Flora, Texas, outside of Wharton. And she's been there. She's owned the building herself for 26 years. And she's always been an antique emporium there with several, it's probably 100 vendors in and out. Yeah. But I said, OMG, if something happens and this store closes, when I say I probably have a 12 by 12 with furniture and shelving and a whole thing of pegs on the wall with stuff hanging on, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You'll have to rent a storage unit.
Yeah. That was been my thing. Christine from Side Street Market, if anybody's on here knows her, she had 2 antique booths. She started with 1, then got 2, and they were stacked. She also had a storage. Yeah. And she was not making profit when you have that much volume, and it was COVID and everything. So she wasn't making profit. She was basically, if you break even, you're just paying for storage, right? Yeah. But if you don't, you're losing money there. So she pulled all of her stuff out and got a second storage that she's really kind of organizing for, more of like she actually can package and everything right there instead of hauling it all home. And because it's already washed and put in and inventoried, and then she can pull it out, package it up, take it to the, but she's got 2. And I kept saying, they go, you need a storage. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting a storage because then I will really be a hoarder. I cannot have storage. But now, in order to get this garage right, we're literally going to have to put everything in storage to empty the garage and put my shelving and everything and all the things that Lovey wants in there, like all the tools and stuff, because we have woodworking tools because he's very handy at that. But he can't use his stuff because he's got some other stuff in there.
My husband's in the same position right now. He's redoing the garage because he helps me with a lot of my crafts.
Yeah.
Cut the wood pieces and all that, or make something.
And I feel sad because every time we do a wood thing and he breaks out all those saws, the miter saw and the circular saw and the big saws, then he has to break them all down and put them up just so we ever have to walk in there. It's pretty bad. So we've been on for about an hour and a half, and I really appreciate that. I just wanted to kind of wrap up by saying, y'all, if you're not subscribed to Carol's channel, My Blessed Nest, please go and do that, and do not make the mistake that I did. Make sure when you hit the notification bell, you hit all notifications. And one of the reasons is because when she posts on her community tab, which is where she posts her like collabs, her open collabs, I didn't get that notification. I only got when she did a video. So now that I've posted I missed the winter tiered tray. I figured it out. So Christine and Michelle Newton's Cupboard, they always help me. They know I'm stunted. But they said if you push the all, then when you post to your collabs to your community page, then you will, I got the notification about, that's how I knew about the All You Need Is Love tiered tray challenge.
Good.
I'll make sure that you subscribe to our channel. You're also on Instagram, correct?
I am. Yes. It's at My Blessed Nest 33.
Yes.
And it's listed in every video too,
Yeah.
in the description if you forget.
So, and of course, please make sure if you are not subscribed to my channel that you do so. I love to do the thrifting. So Carol and I both love to thrift. We both love to look at the antique things. I'm learning from her how to stage and use those things for multiple seasons in my home. Erin is another example. Board and Bananas is one of the ladies that you follow too. And then I know that Julie Thrilled Thrifter, I've mentioned her several times, but she is here in Texas as well. But she is so funny. When I thrift with her, she gets so excited. Then she just goes home and magic. It's just beautiful. And
Wait, you thrift with Julie?
No, she is in Texas, and
Oh.
you thrift with her, but I asked her about meeting up. And so the problem is she's much further. Texas is big. So when she's much further, she comes down for some appointments for her daughter, and they thrift. They try to get it all done in this area at one time. So I am trying to kind of get up with her at a time when we could meet up and go thrifting.
Awesome.
I really, really think she's a cool lady. And I laughed in my Ben's video. I found all of these beautiful blankets, right? And Erin and Julie and them, they just throw it on the couch, they throw it on the chair, and it's kind of like, it's just swirly and it's just there and beautiful. And I'm going, yeah, it looks like somebody wadded mine up and dumped it on the side. So I end up folding it in half and putting it over the back of the couch. So I'm really kind of wondering, I want y'all to show us how you do that.
Okay. Hang on.
Okay. She's going to show us, y'all. She's going to show us.
Take your hand at the top like this.
Of the blanket?
Yeah, just let it drop. Just take the top, see how it all just kind of hangs, and then just drape it over.
Why does mine look like I bundled it up and slept in it all night, and then like the dog burrows in the blanket? That's what mine looks like.
You're so funny.
So, I mean, but yes, y'all go in and check out Carol's channel. And Carol, tell them once again, what is your next upcoming event? Is it the next thing, the tiered tray love?
Yes. February 3rd, All You Need Is Love tiered tray collab. It's a Wednesday, and it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to post the videos.
Okay, y'all, if you're on this chat, or if you watch it after it posts, I want to see your names and your channels in that playlist, because y'all I watch y'all thrifting. I watch Effie Craft. I watch Heather and them thrifting with Miss Jeannie. I watch y'all, and I know what y'all have. So I want you to go in and let's see what everybody's All You Need Is Love tiered tray challenge will look like. Upcoming on my channel, I have said and committed to myself that I'm going to do a monthly live sale. So my first one is Monday. And the reason it's Monday at 1 o'clock is because I'm off on Monday. So it has to be the days that I'm off, because I work Monday through Friday. And so I am going to do a live sale on Monday, the 18th at 1 p.m. And then I need to hurry because I need to get my tiered tray stuff. So in this collab. And I do know this, if you need help attaching yourself to the collab, Carol will help you, because she helped me the first time that I did one of hers. She helped me figure out how to get the playlist, me linked into that playlist. And it is fun to see everybody. So yes, thank you so much, Katie. If you guys have been here, stop and hit that thumbs up button. And anytime you watch a video for YouTube, y'all give it a thumbs up, just for the fact that we edited it, and we should get an applause because that's hard. But you know what the algorithms do. Make sure that you share channels with anyone. I've shared a couple of these channels. Yes. I'm with you, Heather. Mine looks like I left laundry on the couch. Yeah, mine looks like somebody didn't clean up. That's what my blanket looks like. Yes, Effie, and that's the other thing is make sure that that you subscribe, and check out everybody else's channel and subscribe to their channels too. And I know the new thing right now, Carol, have you noticed that if you don't watch at least one video a month, doesn't it kind of take them off of your?
Now, I didn't hear about the one a month, but what I was told in This and That with Denise Jordan, she teaches us things. She said you have to watch at least one full video for them to count to keep you as a subscriber. So
yeah, I know that if right now what's happening is if there are some that I don't get to as often, and I try to go down and say, okay, I watched, Misty on Monday, I watched Michelle Newton on Tuesday, and I try to go through, and some days I'll have to binge watch 2 or 3 of one person to kind of get caught up.
Yeah.
What they were saying is that if you haven't visited that channel, they'll drop your subscription. And so people were noticing that their subscriber numbers were ebbing and flowing. And it's not because they unsubscribed. It's because YouTube was like, oh, you must not be watching this, so we're going to take it off of your subscription. Right. Even if you have to listen to it on your earbuds, that's what I do a lot, do other things. And then you see something, you're like, wait, what did they say? And then you rewind it to watch it again. So yes, 1 p.m. No, I'm wrong. Little Treasures by Nancy, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Whenever they do the YouTube videos, they're asking us to post it in Eastern time. I don't know why, because we're all over the place. Like Stephanie is on the bus, and Miss Trisha with Sandy and Otto, they're in California time. But yes, it is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 18th for my live sale, which is 12 Central Time. So next Monday at 12 Central Time, 1 Eastern Time, I have a live sale, and that gives y'all enough time to get your collabs ready and get signed up to edit your video and all of that. So do you just do them on YouTube, or do you do them on Instagram too?
The collabs, you mean? If anybody is on Instagram and they're not a YouTube creator, that would be fun if they wanted to post pictures of their tiered tray and tag me. I didn't put it out there this time because nobody's ever done it. I always say, hey, and then I forgot about it because nobody's really ever taken me up on that offer. But absolutely, I think that would be fun for some of the people that watch our videos to participate. They don't have to make a YouTube video. They can, tag me on Instagram. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. So again, thank you so much, Carol. It has been an absolute pleasure. You are such a dream to watch, and I love all of the things that you do. You have a great eye as far as, looking for vintage things, but the way you find just things that may kind of be not exactly old. I mean, I watched you take an old, I think it was a snowman wooden ornament or some type of ornament, and then use it in a beautiful display. And I was like, I'd have totally passed that up at the store. So thank you so much for doing that and sharing that with us.
It was super fun. I had a great time, and I looked forward to it for a long time too. Once you invited me. So the anticipation was fun, and now actually doing it was fun as well.
Well, I can't wait to see what other collabs that you put out. And I'm looking forward to actually getting myself together to do that tiered tray with you in February. So thanks so much, everybody. Y'all make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channels. Check out anybody else that was in the chat today. Check out their channels as well. We're both on Instagram. I am at Sweet Treats and Pretties because my other name was too long on Instagram. And Carol, your Instagram again is?
At My Blessed Nest 33.
Okay. And hey, Miss Martha, I see you're just passing by. Miss Martha's on the way from Vintage Conversation. She's on the way back home from a trip. And then she'll be on the road next weekend because we're going thrifting together. So stay tuned because I have 2 weekends. The next 2 weekends are YouTube meetup and thrift alongs with some ladies from Texas. And if anybody's in the area, the Houston area, or I think they might be in Channel View. Y'all know I don't know where they're at. I can't remember. But oh yes, Heather has that $3 live sale is today at 3. So today at Plus One Thrifting, she has a live sale at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 2 o'clock, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from now. But every item is only $3. She's cleaning out, y'all. She's cleaning out. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. And I will end the live video and then Carol and I will say our goodbyes. But thanks so much, everybody, for coming out. And until next time, y'all stay pretty and be sweet. Bye-bye.
Bye.